Hmm. Today, I am going to go into a place that I felt that the community, not as a separation, is struggling. This might be a bit relevant for you. So, to this, so much of positiveness is at the moment going through social media, and you think being positive is the best way to go with life. Now, you have to come to an understanding that this actually create very difficult path for a person who is trying to accept themselves, whether they are in the stage of depression, whether they are in a stage of anxiety, whether they are in a stage of whatever that difficulty is. When you have a whole society saying to you to be positive, this actually adds a personal guilt to the person who is suffering from, whether it's addiction to emotions, addiction to stress, addiction to gambling, addiction, that a huge amount of stress is still created when they go with that emotion, when they are working that emotion. They feel very guilty when they have done that part, or because they think as a society, they add in their own voices and pressure that they are not worthwhile, they are not good enough. Um, So I'm going to today talk about part of Buddhism is Buddha explained to us about Madhyama Pratipadava. Madhyama Pratipadava is you are not interfering of the gauge of the mind. So it is very, very important that you understand mind works from a duality. A lot of things happening in the yoga community or spiritual community is when everyone is having a dimension of the human life in this material world, they are totally focused on only on the color of the white, which is the highest growth of that spirituality, or the blue, the meditation part of the spirituality, or and they rejected all the other colors because all the religions have said sex is bad, money is bad, this is bad, that is bad. So they have a confusion on these all other seven colors. And you have to understand even the primordial level of awakening is you accept whatever the color you are in, but neither you are taking it personal. No is the spirituality, because in that place you're awakening up. So it's not about staying positive, because staying positive will eventually bring you much more deflated because it is not a reality. So whatever the place you are in, today I'm going to give you some little arrows to focus and very gently pulling out of it. Because otherwise, the world is a problem, the weather is a problem, traffic is a problem, money is a problem, having too many relationship is a problem, this and that. And you create this problem and you never get out of it. So you have to constantly fight and give answers to the others while you're doing that. So you don't have to answer to anyone. You just have to realize where you are at, and those dimensions are important because you are having a life in the human world. And then being aware of that, you're aware of that. That is the fix. There is nothing um, to be positive about it. Okay. Saying that, now I will move the camera towards Darren. Welcome you all into this class because it's going to be a very meditative movement and a realization. Erect your spine and find a space that you can roll your shoulders back and opening up that space of the chest. Now, elevating the heart, just become the witness of that breath. very gently moving into the body. Very gently moving out of the body. Now, in this very moment, observe the mind. Wherever you are at is not a punishment. It is not a sign of saying something wrong. It's just your mind is in the gauge of monitoring this experience. So don't give any more extra emphasis on it. As you witness the breath, you have come into the evolve of understanding. And stop taking personally things. This whole life is going through all these 7 colors of the roller coaster ride. Twists, turns, ups, downs. And these challenges are part of this experience. So whether I do have these things within myself, whether it's in the body, whether it's in the mind, lost in disappointment, ill health, learn how to be observing of this and accepting it, whether it's the experience of illness, disappointment about things are not going the way you wanted it to. Now, when you start observing this mind and the body that is not totally you, it is the bodysuit that you're wearing. Don't bypass these challenges. Don't use spiritual words and social media to bypass what you're going through by using positive thoughts and doing this or doing that. Just be aware of that. You're not bypassing anything. Lay the cards, observe it. Not dismissing anything, not invalidating. So now give that body the rest, the mind that rest, that you're constantly not maintaining anything. Now, once the shoulders roll back, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palm facing up. And release that suppression, release this disconnection from that true emotional state, preventing the necessary process of acknowledging and addressing these feelings. Breath out, twist the spine to the right, opening up. So use the mind and the body as a gate. Release that plastering of that emotional wounds. I will never do that because you can't say that. We don't know. I can't say that I'm going to be healthy forever. Can I? Back into the center. Change the leg formation. Arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. If you fester these things, they will resurface again, come up again in much more harmful way to the loved ones and to you, increasing huge amount of stress and anxiety. It's the spine to the left, out breath. Come into this realization and release all that physical issues that you're taking personally, the society pressure. That always have to be on the bright side, always have to be creative, always have to perform correctly. back into the same. Now shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage that back of the skull, and release that shame, the guilty, fostering this resilience and holding this positive outlook about life. Breath out, chin to the chest and collapse the spine into the space of the cat. Release those shields and the armor that you're building up so that you're thinking that your mind and the body won't collapse. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Inevitably, this life has so many weathers, so many ups, downs. Breath out, anus, lock, navel, lock, throat lock. So now positively, you might think your bank balance will help you, your better health will help you. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. What I'm trying to say is positive thinking is not just enough. Answer is your presence to the being. Breath out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. That's why Rama and Krishna is the same thing. The sun and the seven colors. Truly present. We are not lost in thoughts of the past or the future. Now back into the center. Take a deep breath in. Shoulders roll back, palms onto the floor, left leg into the back. Now be in the present moment. But you're accepting, the acceptance means acknowledging what is happening without resistance in it energetically. You know, everything is energy. Your gambling is energy. Your addiction to food is energy. Your addiction to this or that, but accept it. You don't resist that energy. Breath in, breath out, drop the elbows, walk those palms, releasing this tension. And coming to the place that mind is gauging something and it's recognizing the reality the way it has been fed. You cannot ask a tool to be correct. You're meant to navigate from the tool. As Buddha says, you're not hitting both banks of the river. You're a log that's floating in that without going to that side or this side. You accept the life challenges in that space of the middle path. Wasting energy on resisting them is what you're doing. Now take a deep breath in, very gently coming back, shoulders relax, allow the spine to breathe. Allow, you're the navigator of this body. Now there is no resignation, but you are not also have taken a ground of this or that. So that means you're seeing things as they are without the filter of your expectations or desires or your guilt or your shame. This goes to you and to what you think about the others into a plank. Elevate the body, elevate the spine, elevate the movement. Now, what is means you conserve your energy and can direct it towards a constructive action instead of fighting against the reality of work. There's a shift in approach. There's a shift in your consciousness. And there will be a peaceful outcome because of this. But you're not expecting that outcome. Drop the knees, stretch the spine. So now, a moment you are coming through this week where you are not resisting yourself, the mind or the body. Now, your energy is a place of passiveness. Now, there is a place of clarity in you. Now, out of this clarity, whatever you want to do, you do it. Huh? Now, if you really look at India a long time ago, it was non-violence. As soon as it went to non-violence, people start invading them. But before, they were very spiritual, but they also know how to protect themselves. But that place comes from passive. They didn't go and conquer everything, but they also did not allow people to conquer them. Because that clarity came. I may be wrong in these things, so don't take it personal and write to me. That was not about India. Yes, it was. It is using for you. Accept what is. You are no longer driven by fear or resistance. Then you can do everything. Because that is the effective part coming to lead you into the real space. But it's also not giving up. That's what I wanted to say to you. It's working from a place of transcending. So challenges does not mean then avoiding or denying. It means moving through the fog and you're driving your car. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in and coming into a gentle Bhujangasana. When you come into the Bhujangasana, I want you to see the space of the mind and the body as a situation. You're not saying that it should not happen. It is not what they should have done to me. Or they have put me into this place. The numbers have put me into this place. Weather has put me into this place. Relationship has put me into this. My mother has put me into this place. My father has, my boss has, my brother has, my friend has, my lover has. How can I best deal with it? A shift in the perspective. Now, of course, the proper attitude is to find a solution to the problem, but it's not the ultimate solution that think of positive. Overlooking to the right side. Polarity of the body. Overlooking to the left side. Polarity of the body. Tool is a tool. Tool is not a cure. All it's doing is it's helping you. But it's not enough on its own to bring the truth. So you came to the center. Life is in non-duality. And you're spiritually present. The filter of thoughts and judgments are not there when you're present, because you will question when it comes to that judgment. Relax the third eye onto the floor. And elbows pointing out. Open up those armpits. Let that lymph nodes to relax on the throat, armpits, groin. And take a deep breath in and go a bit more deeper into the reality of the existence. Because these connections bring a sense of peace, sense of flow. Understanding that goes beyond positive. Understand that goes beyond negative. Now this has stopped your cortisol bill because you have stopped fighting against reality. Now you have become passive. And this place of clarity. Bring the palms of the elbows up, breathing into a elevate posture of up face, taking effective action without being driven by the resistance or fear. Navigate. Breath out towards the down face. Take a deep breath in, bringing the left foot into the pigeon pose. Shoulders roll back. Take a deep breath in. Drop the elbows, walk those open. Presence. Now, positive can give you a little bit of energy, but is it actually the positive now driving this vehicle, this instrument? No, staying present and accepting what it is. Take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. Now you can face ups and downs, right and wrong, good and bad, love and hate, the grace and the peace. Not about avoiding anything, but transcending them and embracing the present moment as it is. So you want to consciously go to the week that you have had this week? Is it really a problem? Now, very gently coming into play. Strong on the palm. Now we have awakened the Dharma against your habits. Now the real awakening goes against your desires. So there is no wrong way of the realization. Drop the knees, stretch the spine. Because your mind are in darkness. When the mind in an educational level can be in a very much in a dark place. We don't clearly see through. Do you think all the written explanations are true? Do you think people can be really think that I'm being fooled and hypnotized by all this? One part of the world says wrong. One part of the world says the same thing is right. So it belongs which part of the world you're in. You believe that this is because you're not yet the master of that place of Ra. Your moods lie to you constantly. Your emotions lie to you constantly. Because you use the mind and its opinion as your guide. Well, let me tell you, then you're in a very wrong place. You're in a very difficult place. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in into up face. Breath out onto a down face. Left leg up into the back. Give a good rotation. Left knee to the left chest. Breathe out. Stretch back. Left knee onto the left elbow. Stretch back. Left knee onto the right elbow. Stretch back. Left foot into the front. Arms stretch into the back. Thumb press onto the ground. Placing the fingers. While the rotations of 6 deep cycles of breath. Psychosomatically, we are bringing the mind and the body into a place of a middle path. This is also not also telling you you have to take your own decision. I'm not saying that. Just come into the place of your using and giving rise to the righteousness. Contemplate and see the cause and the effect before you believe what you hear. Even if I'm saying to you something, know the truth for yourself, and it does not have to be everyone's truth. Comes onto the Namaskar position, opening up onto the Virabhadrasana. Now this body is difficult, this is that, this is that. Coming to a neutral space, don't think wrongly. Don't see it on a different perspective. This is why people are staying in relationships. They run away to the forest because it's too much. They run away to have a break. They flee in the crowd and they come back. They say, this is not my community. This yoga community is not correct for me. That family is not correct with me. This can put you in a turmoil because it was caused from your own continually running away. Gentle arch. But whether you live with yourself or with others or with thoughts or no thoughts, still you have not found peace. Why is that? Was it in a relationship that you should have been? Whether it's a job that you have been? Whether it's a place that you have to be? Back into the center elbow, onto the knee. I'm asking these inquiries so that you can release certain things. So nothing was contained. Large group was not. The job was. Relationship wasn't. House wasn't. Country wasn't. Maybe you don't belong to this galaxy. The world is not. Switch the right arm into the front. Gently touch the floor. Left arm reaching up. Stretch the space of the mind that you told that this content was due to your companions, due to your moods, due to your living place, due to the food, due to the job, due to the weather, due to. And constantly you're searching for something to suit your mind. Will you ever think it's a reality? Left reaching into the back, touch the floor. Drop the back knee onto the floor. Take a moment here. Just be gentle to your mind and its gauges. A lot of people was not satisfied. Little people was not satisfied. House, place, relationship, job. Why is all these things eventually coming to the place of dissatisfied? Did you have a wrong view? You have the wrong teaching? Here is not good, there is not good. Just like when a mad dog bites whatever it needs because it's mad. When the mind is like this, your practice is never settled. Today we feel good, tomorrow we are not. You don't attain contentment or peace. Into a plan. Running, is it still uncomfortable? Sitting in one place when you're running, is it still uncomfortable? Left knee onto the floor. Standing for a while, is it uncomfortable? Sitting for a while is uncomfortable. Lying down, uncomfortable. Waking up, uncomfortable. Sleeping. Right, I'm reaching into the front after this. It's suffering because you are taking the mind as the gauge and allowing it to lead you. You have not become the master of it. So you blame this, you blame that, right? Reaching into the back end. Left, I'm reaching up to the ceiling. Touch the floor. We say we need to run to the forest. We say we need to run to another country. We say we need another job. We say we need another partner. We say we need financially a better place, healthy, better. Going elsewhere is still not satisfied. Why not? Because we don't have that space, because we are not in the space of contentment. Drop the knees, give a good rotation to the hips and release. Just like that mad dog barking at everything. Onto the other side. Now stretch the spine. Now we don't take the moods as our awakening. We arrive on the mood and we see this is what it is as it is. We don't blame the weather, it's hot or cold. Yesterday my hands were so cold clean. I went and I put some hot water inside the kitchen, the place I was cleaning. But I was not blaming about it. Now this comes to the place of whether living with many or few. Contentment does not depend on whether it's a greater bank balance, whether it's a greater health, whether it's a greater weather, whether it's a greater country. Only from the awakening up into that space of the right view. Wherever your position is at, now you can accept that. Otherwise, it's like the maggot living in a place of filth. It's all filthy, but it suits the maggots. Thoughts are exactly like that. Once a maggot falls, can you see that it really crawled back to that dirt again? That's how the thoughts are. That's how the thoughts are. If you take a stick and brush it away from a lump of that shit, it struggles and it crawls back. It's the same way when we resist, it makes us feel uneasy. We run back to the lump of dung because that's where a lot of people feel home when they complain, when they're stressed, when they can blame others. You got me so far. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in into up face. Breathe out towards the down face. Right leg up into the back. Right knee to the chest. Stretch back. Right knee to the right elbow. Stretch back. Right knee to the left elbow. Stretch back. Right foot into the front. Arms stretch into the back. Arms raise into the back. 6 deep cycles of breath. Now, when you come into this level of the duality of the mind, everything is difficult. Now, when you awaken and when you have that space of a passive place to generate that right view about it, everything is contained. Now, very gently, when you come into this realization, opening up into the Virabhadrasana and taking a mudra into the awakenedness of this space. Now, when this awakening happening, your difficulty, is it certain? It's uncertain. Is that the unhappiness is yourself or the difficulty is yourself? Is there any substance to it? Is it real in this right view, in this awakening? Because now you know what you don't see it as a being real at all. Difficulty is merely a flash of a feeling which appears and then gone. So it's your addiction. Then the happiness is also same. Gentle arch. Back into the center. Elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching up into the front. So is there any consistency? It's just simply feeling that flashes of sudden and it's gone. Everything is, the mood is born, mood is died. Addiction is born, it dies. If you give time without reacting onto it, without being justified by this. Switch the arm and touch the floor. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Into the back, touch the floor. Drop the back knee onto the floor, holding onto the front knee. So everything in this mind, if you don't feel, it's just a moment of appearing and disappearing. Even that love that you generate from the space of the romance or the hate or resentment. In reality, there is no substantial entity there. They are merely impression which you flare up and then it's done. In the flare up moment, you do certain things. You buy someone that you think that you're in love. You give gifts. Palms onto the floor into a plant. Strong on the pelvic floor. So these energies can deceive you constantly because you will not find any certainty. Right knee onto the floor, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, touch the floor. Right arm reaching into the front, take a deep breath in, breath out, touch the floor, drop the knees, push the hips forward, wider rotation. Body doesn't know when the mind is like this, so it takes the shape of the mind. It shape to take the shape of the unhappiness. You could see in certain people's body happiness, resentment, anger, frustration. Stretch the spine. You never take a moment to see the truth of it. Now, you merely use thought is not no longer relevant for your wisdom. If you don't know, you will use a lot of thinking than realization. And when people don't have realization, there's a lot of thoughts in them, there's a lot of talk in them, until you truly see the harmful results of your actions yourself. Then you can give them up. But until you see the real benefit of the practice, benefit of the space of your awakening, when a thought arises now, it's like a cut log of wood. You throw into the river, that log does not sink or rot, but it does not run ground on either of the banks, either path of the polarity of the mind. It definitely will reach to the sea. Buddha says your practice is comparable to this. If you practice according to the space of awakening, you will transcend into two things. What are these two things? Two extremes. These are the two banks of the river. One of the bank of the river is hate, or the other is love, whether one is right, whether is other wrong, whether it's happiness, whether it's unhappiness. The log is this mind. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in very gently into a gentle cobra now. Softening. Now, when the practice is there, your mind does not cling to that happiness or unhappiness. It is reaching the space of nirvana. If you don't run aground on these things, then you are in the path of a true awaken. You're not depending on happiness or unhappiness. You're not depending on healthy or unhealthy. You're not depending on money or not having money. You're not depending on love and rejecting hate. You're established in nature according to the constant law of the nature, whether the weather is good or bad. You don't cling into anything. Mind has tentacles. It's love to indulge on those two banks. When it's happy, it goes to the positive bank. When it goes to unhappy, it's love to go and blame everything. Unhappy, hate, depressed, all that. Now very gently relax the body onto the floor. Take a moment and soften the hips side to side and release any tension further. Now, this mind does not indulge on anything. It does not indulge in pleasure. It does not indulge in pain. It does not indulge in happiness. It does not indulge in unhappiness. It does not indulge in rich. It does not indulge in being poor. Because you see these extremes even in the spiritual world. I want to live like a beggar. Oh my God. Oh, I want to live like this. I want to live like a sannyasi. Onto the knees and stretch to just let your glass eventually flow into that space of the ocean. Child, the space of the insects. Waking up the spine one vertebra. Now, each and every vertebra is coming into the soul colors of the seven chakra. You accept wherever it is. Desire to eat something, then you accept it. Desire to be this, but you don't cling into that as a place of permanence. Shoulders roll back, coming into a seating posture. Very gently twisting the spine to the right and stomach folding. Back into the center and twist the spine into the other side. Back into the center. Take a moment in taking the essence of the practice that I have realized the space of the truth. I'm not this mind, I'm not this body, but not rejecting it. There are parts you attend to it, or which without taking that permanent ground. The shoulders relax and allow the breath to move in. As this breath moves in, and I have the captivity of this breath for a few seconds. When breath moves out, I no longer have the captivity of this breath. Neither I am taking things totally in and holding the captivity, or try to force to release the captivity of it. I'm not doing anything. And allow your realization come into that space of understanding. I understand the ram, the color of the sun, but it is not separate with the seven colors of all the dimension, whether I am this or that or that or this. Now, is the meditation of this realization, does this belongs to this body? Does this belongs to the mechanism of the mind? This belongs to the person who came and sat with the age and the gender and the name and the address? Because this realization is captive to this body. Does this realization needs word and images? Just this realization, once if I have heard, can I keep it captive? When you come into this realization, arms very gently raised back to the ground, cleansing the space and the aura. And your intention allow the energy to shift in the space of the body and the mind of realization and understanding, space of the home, loved ones without separation, the space of the town, space of the country, space of the world, the galaxy, wherever. There is no limit to that realization. Comes onto the space of that awakening, space of the crown that I accept all colors of me, not just the white, bright light. That I see beyond the vision. You know, I generate the energy of my intentions through my voice, through my language, heart. Everything coming from this realization, and this realization is nothing other than the awakening space of love. And that love is to love yourself, not to your gender, not to your past, not to you. It is that realization. Solar plexus. Never accepting all emotions as it is without pleading guilt or opposite guilt. More than grounding myself into the space of the color red. Because you are having a human life in a human dimension. Arms gently raised back to the ground, cleansing the space and the aura, and elevating the space into a place that you have just transcended. Palms onto the Namaskar position. Namaste. So that we are gently going into the space of from the of lost from the asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. We have come into the place of I don't like to say these words as meditator, yogi, because then it's like a destination or it's from a past we have come to idea of it and then we are entertaining the idea. You're mining, you're doing something, you're mining something, you're bodying something, you're yogining, you are awakening, you are the language doesn't give a lot of space to the ing in so many words. So you have to understand, and this is very important that whatever you go, you have to accept king, and then it comes and it stays and it leaves. So everything is like that. And very gently, when you come into this place, you could see your identity to your body and its history, and to the mind and its history also no longer captivating you. Even you can freak out. If you're in the practice, it does not freak you out. It only freaks you out. And then you go, so I need grounding and I need to eat meat. I need to put my feet on grass, whether there is grass or not, whether you're in Moon or Jupiter. Still, this realization is realizing and stay in that space constantly. And we all are very blessed to come into this practice even once a week. If you can very gently do it every day, at least 1 hour. If you're going to the bed, just put the headphone and visit a class, but not as your favorite class or this class, because you have to be very careful of favorites, because it can hold you in one bank of the river. Remember, the idea is to love to flow into the ocean. Neither this or that. This is why on emails you're asking me about positive affirmation. I don't believe in them. Everybody is these days in constant positive affirmation. What about people who can't go to the positive affirmation? Are they meant to uh, take their lives out of it because they are a failure for the earth? So have the next time the compassion to the person that you really think. Why can't they get their act together? And this is in a way that you will also release something that you're holding as a discipline. And if that discipline is so restricted and you're coming from a place of, then it's not. You have to come into the place of that discipline from a very passive place that there is no control. I love you all and it's great seeing you all. And I'll see you soon. Big hugs to Sylvia, big hugs to Liz, big hugs to Maria and Sid, Matt and Rebecca and Daz and your beautiful smile and face. Love you all. Namaste. I hope this class will help you guys. Take care.